still underdogs at home, on the road, and all of these games. It's time for people to start understanding it's a legitimate team that has a chance not only to win the series against Cleveland, but also maybe even go all the way to the NBA Finals.
I think a lot of the focus has been on why the Cavs have not played particularly well. A lot of that is due to injury, of course, but I think that's taking too much credit away from what the Pacers have done.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Malaysia Fawali, who you guys know I am a huge fan, has decided to switch allegiances and stay in league. And now she's going to go play for Kim Mulkey. Her, Flau'jae Johnson in the backcourt. It's going to be interesting to watch. You wonder sometimes with roster construction, maybe too much is not too good.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Jason Tatum underwent surgery to repair a torn right Achilles tendon. That is obviously a season-ending injury, and you know that's long rehab. You're talking
that's a year.
That's a year.
I don't wish that on anybody. I don't. I hate that Achilles, knees and ankles. I don't like talking about them. I've said it a million times. But screw the Celtics.
Pharrell, coast to coast. Only on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency. The pitch suppliers, the hustlers, the people, the bus, and everybody else in between. Let's do this thing. The Wicked Wednesday has begun. The Minnesota Timberwolves meltdown has begun and is nearly complete as the Oklahoma City Thunder literally strike them early in this basketball game. There's been no turning back. The score, it's almost like a double take type of deal. 67-32. Make it 69. 69-32. Like this literally might be like this is like a high school basketball score. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like this is like Don Bosco 114. You know, and you know, like one of these, you know, like a girls' high school basketball game. You know, you see the final score 86-21. This is what this is. Like if there was a mercy rule, I'm sure the Minnesota Timberwolves would take it right now. They'd say, all right, this is it, we're done. And I've said this for years. It's like my line. I've said this like for forever. The ending is never pretty for anybody, right? It never is, like for any team, right? It's always like, it's like ripping, like it's like getting, you know, ripping the flesh wound open and everything is exposed at once, no matter what nice of run you had. It's never pretty when it ends. You see it all the time in football, like team season just implode, right? They get lit up in the playoffs. That's it. You know, everything we did is gone. We just got killed. That's all the people remember. But that's just the way it is. So, like, if you're going to lose, like, how many people actually thought? We talked about this game last night on the show, and I said, there's no way in hell Minnesota are going to win this game tonight. Right? And I don't like laying points, and even I knew. I'm like, they're going to murder them. And, in fact, I felt pretty good about myself. I told Scott Farrell earlier in the day, I said, this game's going to be like 40-14 after the first quarter. It literally was like 40-16, I think. Right? Not quite after the first quarter, but early, because Minnesota only scored 9 points, whatever it was, in the first. Like an absolute train wreck of a basketball game for the Minnesota Timberwolves tonight. So Oklahoma City going through the motions right now, and it's too bad for people to bet the over this game. I was really worried about this. I talked about this as well earlier in the day with Farrell, talking about the total. I said, the problem is, you know, Oklahoma City are going to put a ton of points up, but I said, I think it's probably going to be one of these games where the Minnesota players, their starters are all going to be on the bench midway through the third quarter because they're going to be down by 50. And here we are right now. Like, at what point do they quit? I imagine after this quarter. I don't think they're going to play Anthony Edwards in the fourth quarter if they're down by 65, right? Like, at this point, I'm not even exaggerating. Like, it's that bad. 73-38 right now. In-game total is 205.5. We can totally blame the Minnesota Timberwolves for costing us the over here. NHL hockey, the Carolina Hurricanes showing some life. Of course, they beat the Panthers the other night. They're down 3-1. And we've seen in the past the Panthers have had an inability of closing series out. You know what I mean? Like, the Panthers have played in 2 consecutive Stanley Cup finals, and, they're the big bad bullies of the NHL right now. You think, they have the killer instinct. They actually don't. I mean, look at the Edmonton Oilers series last year. They were up 3-0. The Oilers nearly came back and won the freaking series, right? They sent it to 7. The Leafs sent it to 7. We've seen this before over the years, like with the Boston Bruins. They played the Bruins a bunch of times where they came back on the Bruins. They blew the lead on the Bruins. Like, the Panthers can be a streaky team, as good as they are. They can be vulnerable at times in these short sort of pockets, right? Where it's like, wow, they just lost 3 in a row in the playoffs. But they always sort of find a way to get out of trouble. And they were in big trouble tonight. The Carolina Hurricanes were up 2-0 in the game, and the Canes were really looking good. And the Canes looked confident. And then, boom, in a blink of an eye, like 30 seconds, next thing you know, it's 2-2. Now it's 3-2. We're going into the third period of play. We're at the intermission right now. The Florida Panthers are minus 425 to win the hockey game. Carolina Hurricanes are plus 310. Total is 7.5. Over 7.5 is plus 145 to the over. Under 7.5, minus 180. So we're at 5 right now. Don't forget, this is an elimination game. Brenda Moore is super aggressive when it comes to pulling the goalie as well, and he will be tonight with the season on the line if he has to. There's different ways this goes. Like, this game goes, it's plus 145. I don't think it's a terrible bet just because of the number here, right? Getting to plus 145. The thing is, if the Hurricanes score, then I don't think it gets to 8. You know what I mean? Like, if they make it 3-3, we could end up going to overtime at 3-3. But if the Florida Panthers score and they make it 4-2, then all hell will break loose. Carolina's going to get super desperate. Let's say Florida score a quick goal here. It'll go over to 7.5 because there's going to be 4-2, and then the Canes are going to panic. They're going to really open things up. Their defensemen are going to start pinching all the time, and they're going to be trying to score, and they're going to have empty netters as well. I kind of lean with the over here, 7.5. So we got the basketball going on here. It's a complete blowout. And, we can't even try to cry the over home. It's 203.5 right now. I just don't think it's going to get there. We're just going to have to take the Oklahoma City win and move on. It's a big soccer night for us tonight. You guys know I love to bet on the MLS, and we've been doing pretty well this year betting on the MLS. And so far, so good. 3-0 start to the evening for us. 3 games, 3 wins. And we got the Austin FC Real Salt Lake game draw plus 280. It's scoreless at the half. It's a pretty good start for the draw. But we got more picks coming up here. And let's get to some best bets here tonight. This is super cool. Let's start off, before we get to the main event, let's start off here with the Portland Timbers. Listen, the Portland Timbers are a good team. They've always been a good team. The Portland Timbers are really good at home. They're hard to deal with at home. One thing with the Timbers, they're hard to score on. If you look at the Portland Timbers, last game 1-0, game before 1-1, game before that scoreless, 1-0 the game before that. All right, we've had 4 straight unders for the Portland Timbers, and Colorado have a hard time scoring. All right, Colorado, give them credit. They've won their last 2 games, but they've won them 1-0, 1-0. And in fact, 4 straight unders for Portland. We'll cut to the chase here. 4 straight unders for Portland, 4 straight unders for the Colorado Rapids. Give us the Portland Timbers to win the game, and let's go under 2.5 in the Portland Timbers and the Colorado Rapids game. All right, now the main event, the best team in the league, literally and figuratively, the Vancouver Whitecaps. And Whitecaps play on the weekends most of the time. They're on Apple a lot. We don't get a chance where, they're on, mainstream television, like the game of the night, game of the week type of deal. But they are tonight. And listen, we should let you know the Whitecaps are playing in a CONCACAF Cup Champions final on Sunday in Mexico City. So basically, they're playing tonight, and then they're going to get ready, and they're going to, get ready to leave tomorrow/Friday morning for Mexico City for the biggest game in their franchise's history, literally and figuratively. But this is a big game for them tonight, and the league gave them the option of actually postponing the game tonight. They said, listen, you guys got the biggest game. You're playing in the CONCACAF. It's Mexico City. If you want to leave, you can leave, and we'll reschedule the game. And the Vancouver Whitecap coach said, no, I don't want my players overthinking about Sunday's game. I want to keep the routine as is. Let's play tonight. Minnesota are a good team. Minnesota are only a few points behind Vancouver in the standings, and we should note that they got a player suspended the last time they played a couple of weeks ago for his language and comments that were made to a Vancouver player. There's bad blood between the two of them. We'll give you our best bets for that on the other side. We got a full house tonight. Let's roll.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I'm Morency. The Pistol Players, Oscars, the people, the bus, and everybody else in between. Basketball game 78-50. Hey, look, Minnesota are coming back. It's only 78-50 right now, but it's an absolute slaughter going on here. And we got the over. I was worried about it, but I forced it a little bit. We're on Oklahoma City and all that. Honestly, I'm expecting in the fourth quarter, everyone's going to get pulled at some point here. And if I'm Oklahoma City, I'm already thinking about it. Like, it's 78-50. I just saw SGA's on the court. It's 78-50. There's 5 minutes left in the third quarter, but I wouldn't tempt fate. I'd get them off the floor pretty soon here, and I'd start to get my starters off the floor if I was Oklahoma City, even though we got the over. All right, before we bring Brady and Cam in here, let's blast through my last picks here. We already gave you, so we told you the Portland Timbers are going to win tonight against Colorado. Let's go under 2.5. It's plus 160 right now. The under 2.5. I don't understand this. Colorado are 4-0 to the under 2.5 their last 4 matches. Portland are 4-0 to the under their last 4 matches. It's plus 160 under 2.5. I'm playing the plus 160 under 2.5, and I'm also going to play under 3.5 alternate line at minus 150. So I got under 2.5 and under 3.5 in this game. All right, Vancouver Whitecaps and Minnesota. As I stated, Minnesota are really good. They're like third place. They're only a couple of points behind Vancouver, despite the fact Vancouver only lost 1 game all year. They beat Minnesota 3-1 in Minnesota a couple of weeks ago. They got into a little fight after the game. I don't know what was said, right? It was like a dude from like Venezuela said something to a dude from Ghana. Right, and it got into it, and they won't really say what was said, but the player from Minnesota was suspended. There was like a mini fight after the game. They don't like each other. Now, they're playing tonight. Vancouver have the big game Sunday in Mexico, but Vancouver have been relentless. They're always in bad spots, and they always win. So let's go with the Vancouver Whitecaps to win this game tonight. Let's go. You're getting plus 110. Whitecaps to win. Let's go over 2.5 goals in this game. The Whitecaps have been playing in higher scoring games. 4 of their last 5 games have had like 3, 4, 5 goals, etc. They've been playing in higher scoring games. Let's go over to 2.5. They played to a 3-1 result a couple of weeks ago. Both these teams kick a lot of corner kicks. Let's go over. Normally it's 9.5. Unfortunately, it's 10.5 tonight. Let's go over 10.5 corner kicks. And finally, in closing, one of the most lethal and dangerous scorers in MLS, Brian White, to score a goal. This guy is money. He's an ATM machine. He basically scores every game. I don't want to mush it. It is down to plus 137 now for him to score, but Brian White to score a goal tonight. This game kicks off in about 13 minutes' time from Vancouver at BC Place. Let's bring in Cam Stewart, Brady Cannon in the house. Good to see you, Cam. Good to see you, Brady. How you doing, Brady?
I'm doing great, guys. Good to be with you once again. And I tell you, I've been talking with a couple of people this week. And Cam, you're well aware, we're in a heck of a stretch of golf right now. You got the legendary trifecta, Byron Nelson, Ben Hogan, Hogan's Alley last week, now Jack's Place. You know, we had the Truist Championship. We've got the Canadian Open coming up in a couple of weeks. We've got the U.S. Open, the Scottish Open. You know, really good stretch of golf right now. Summer is officially here, gentlemen.
U.S. Women's Open this week too.
Yeah,
it's going to be a really nice tournament.
And I talked about it last night, Brady. The NCAA championships are going on, although I don't see any numbers for it anywhere. I don't see lines. And being the degen that I am, I'd like to bet on it. I looked everywhere. I couldn't find numbers for it.
I have never heard about that. I love, you know what's getting going right now. They start Friday is college baseball. I love betting on college baseball, but you're right. I've never found a market on college golf.
You figure, in the modern day and age, I guess they need someone to set the number for them. As simple as that. I mean, I'm sure they would take the bets. Maybe the format of it, they don't like it, but when it's like Arizona State, Oklahoma State, it's like basically 4 teams head to head, and there's like it's like a mini tournament. But we're gonna have Lou on tomorrow. I know Lou likes to bet on the college baseball. 16 regionals begin on Friday, Brady. 16 of them.
Oh, I love it. And Lou is great for college baseball. We had my friend Matt Grissom on over the weekend, Adam Kaufman and I. He and Lou know each other real well. Those are my 2 go-to guys for college baseball. I've got future tickets that I placed preseason on Arkansas and LSU, and they're currently the 2 favorites right now. I've also got North Carolina and Florida. You just really want to hope that you have one of the 8 teams that gets to Omaha. We start with 64 on Friday, and you hope that you've got a live ticket with one of the 8 teams that gets to the dance in Omaha in late June.
If you remember, Brady, what was your number for Arkansas like before the year compared to what it is now? Because now they're like plus 450 or so, right? So what did you get? What do you have them at?
I've got Arkansas at 14-1 and LSU at 10-1.
Nice numbers. You know who I think is a dangerous team coming out of the SEC is Ole Miss, who made it to the championship series / game. They lost in the final game of the SEC tournament. Some big-time wins. They can play with anybody, this team, and they're 40-1 right now.
I think the team that got him, Vanderbilt, is live too. I mean,
yes,
the SEC just dominates, but I think Vanderbilt, who won the SEC tournament, beat Ole Miss. There's something to take a look at too. They've already won a couple of national championships in recent history.
I'm looking here right now. I'm like, where is Brian White to score a goal? The Whitecaps do this all the time. They pulled a fast one with their lineup. They're not playing Brian White because they got the big game Sunday. They've done this before, the Whitecaps, right? They got a massive game, so at the last minute, I saw their lineup earlier. All right, so no Brian White play for us here, guys. Now suddenly, who's going to score the goal? So they're resting guys tonight. Doesn't really mean, they still have good players here, though. Let's go Jaden Nelson to score. Jaden Nelson to score a goal, guys, for the Vancouver Whitecaps at plus 250. But these injuries really change things up. All right, so we'll get into the golf, the Memorial on the other side. The basketball game is a massive blowout right now. The NHL game, the third period has started. It's 3-2 for the Florida Panthers. Paul Bovey will join us later. We'll get into the Knicks and the Pacers series. We'll track the MLS action live here tonight. The Wicked Wednesday continues.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
And if you go through CAT, that means CAT at 11-1. Could be Eastern Conference Finals MVP. The worst team in the WNBA is the Chicago Sky. They have no perimeter play. They're playing Sloot too many minutes. And Angel Reese doesn't have the help she needs.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
I actually like the fact that they went 7 games against a quality opponent here and still had to face adversity even in a game number 7. How are we setting up this next series where they rested Minnesota Timberwolves team taking on OKC fresh from the fight here?
They had an extremely, maybe it's just too strong a statement to say, easier pathway than people thought, particularly because of their size.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that rim. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple 18.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Let's roll. We're kicking it. This is SportsRage. I'm Gabriel Morency, SportsGrid Radio and Television Network, Sirius XM Channel 159. T-Wolves getting smashed. It's 85-62. The in-game numbers up to 209.5 right now because Oklahoma City aren't stopping. They're up to 85. And the point spread's 23.5, total 209.5. NHL hockey, we got a 3-2 game. The Carolina Panthers and the Florida Panthers and Carolina Hurricanes I always confuse the Panthers and Hurricanes. I'll be glad when this team is out of our way. I don't have to talk about it anymore. But they're facing elimination right now. The total's still 7.5 right now. It's over. It's up to plus 210. It goes to show you that the computer knows, the odds makers know there's going to be a flurry of late goals in this game, right? And most of the time they would have moved it to 6.5. We started at 7.5 in this period. They haven't because they know it's Carolina facing elimination here. So they're going to need, you know what I mean? If they're going to pull the goalie, let's say Florida scores again, makes it 4-2, the floodgates will open up in this game. The only way it does it is if Carolina scores some late goal and it goes to overtime, tied at 3. But when this thing hits 6.5, I think I'm going to attack the over. All right, so Brady said we got it's a big time of golf coming up. We got some tournaments, some nice field here. Let's get started, Brady. How do you feel this week from a betting perspective about this tournament? Do you like your picks? Are you excited about the Memorial?
I am. I love this tournament. This is big boy golf. This is Jack Nicklaus's tournament. And, this is about as close as you can get to a major championship. They've held Ryder Cups here. They've held President's Cup here. This is tough golf. The fairways are not necessarily narrow, but the rough is really thick. The greens are super fast. I almost went with Scotty, and then I saw his number was less than 3-1. I was like, boy, geez. So I went pretty much the next chalk down the board. This is a signature event, only 72 players. There is a cut. Cut is top 50 in ties and also anybody within 10 shots of the lead on Friday. So, you're going to end up with 50 or 60 guys on a really tough golf course. And so I said, you know what, give me some of the other stars. I'm going to see if I can beat Scotty again this week. I went with Morikawa, who's had tremendous history here. He's won at this golf course before, not for the Memorial. During COVID, they had a really weird thing where they played at this golf course back-to-back weeks. Morikawa won the first week. I went with him at 18-1. Morikawa beat Justin Thomas in a playoff that year. Thomas is one of the hottest players in the world right now. I took him at 24. And then I tell you, two guys that I think could really be good this week. Shane Lowry, I took at 40-1. And I haven't bet on this guy in a long time, guys. But I'm on Jordan Spieth. I'm on Spieth at 50-1. He has been playing very well, sneaky, under the radar. He's been super good off the tee. And if he can find that short game that we know he has, that magical short game, he's had great history at this course in the past. He looks to me like he's close to winning again. Not a major yet. I'm not going to go there yet. But I think he is getting close to winning a golf tournament again. It's been 3 years.
Brady, I'm a good profiler. And if I was I could book Cam's bets for him. And if I was his bookie, I'd know which teams to juice. I could smell George Kurtz's bets a mile away. But I swear to God, before I saw when you said I'm gonna go and I was gonna jump in, but I was gonna say call him Morikawa. I know it's gonna be Morikawa. Yeah. That's your guy, Brady, in these tournaments. You've gone to him before in a situation like this, where it was Scheffler with a massive number. Yeah. I sort of remember, and you're like, I'm going Morikawa. I'm going with Xander. He's right there. It's sort of that number right there. Yeah. But just for the record, guys, it's plus 300 for Scheffler and then a massive drop. Xander 17-1, plus 1,700. Morikawa plus 1,700. Justin Thomas plus 1,900. Cantlay plus 2,400. You're getting some great odds with a lot of great golfers here besides Scotty Scheffler.
It's amazing. And that's why, and I've gone to Scheffler. I've gone right to the top of the board before, and who knows, he might win again. But yeah, I'll take three guys at 2 or 3 or 4, 20 times the price and see if I can beat him. I haven't been on Morikawa in a while. I don't think I've been on him since the Masters, but he makes too much sense here. The last time he won in the United States was on another Nicklaus course in Florida, the Concession. So, and if you look at that leaderboard, it's littered with guys that have done well at the Memorial.
All right, we'll get into more into the Memorial on the other side. We'll keep our eye on the NBA game's a blowout. If it gets close to the over, we'll get excited. Hurricanes are in trouble. They need to score.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
And if you go through CAT, that means CAT at 11-1 could be Eastern Conference Finals MVP. The worst team in the WNBA is the Chicago Sky. They have no perimeter play. They're playing too many minutes. And Angel Reese doesn't have the help she needs.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
I actually like the fact that they went 7 games against a quality opponent here and still had to face adversity even in a game number 7. How are we setting up this next series where they rested Minnesota Timberwolves team taking on OKC fresh from the fight here?
They had an extremely, maybe it's just too strong a statement to say, easier pathway than people thought, particularly because of their size.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple 15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Doug Jarvis with the big goal. Oh, no, Seth Jarvis. Carolina Hurricanes tie the game.
Great two-way player, Doug Jarvis. That guy was
I don't think there's any sort of player. I don't think there's a relation between the two of them either. Like, it's just a random name that this guy has. Pretty sure there's not. We would have heard if there is. But Seth Jarvis just tied the hockey game 3-3, 11 minutes left. The Caniacs are going crazy in Raleigh right now. So we got a 3-3 game. That's Jarvis's 6th goal of the playoffs. Nice playoffs. The Canes back in this thing 3-3 right now. One thing, this is a dangerous minute here now. We've seen this movie and we've seen this script before in the past, and I'm telling you, you got to be careful, and they're to score. The Panthers always do this. The home team scores, they tie the game, they get all excited. The bench doesn't even have time to start high-fiving each other, and the Panthers score. They nearly just did it. I swear to God, I couldn't even get it out. It happened so fast. I was like, well, watch out, because the Panthers always attack. It's like they know, guys, the other team is like distracted right now by just scoring. They're all excited. Get the puck into the zone. They just got the puck into the zone. They nearly scored. Nice save, Freddie Anderson. But we got a 3-3 game with 11 minutes left right now. New numbers, just for the record. Suddenly the Canes are plus 105. Panthers minus 135. Total sits at 7.5 right now. I've kind of leaned to the under, guys, because I wouldn't be surprised if it ends 3-3 like this and we go to overtime. So total 7.5 minus 150, over 7.5 plus 120. All right, so we got Brady Cannon in the house, Memorial Golf Tournament. Brady, any other golfers you want to talk about? Let's get your best bets up here again too, and go over it a little bit here. If you had to isolate like one or two players for people tuning in right now, who would you say if they want to bet one or two guys? And who's the most bet guy at MGM, and who are they most liable with this week?
Right. I want to give you that as well. So I'll go over it again. I've got Morikawa, Justin Thomas, Shane Lowry, and I'm really fired up about Jordan Spieth. I hope I landed on, this is so much about timing, right? I hope I timed Jordan Spieth right. I'd love to see him win this week. I think JT, he's been playing so well his last 5 or 6 starts. And then I took 2 long bombs.
I love your
Robert
long shots.
McIntyre. Yeah, Robert McIntyre at 80-1. And I know you were on Bud Colley last week. Cam finished 3rd at Colonial.
You see what he did?
Is red hot.
Picked up and, Gabe, you should have seen it.
Because of Scotty. Because of Scotty, we're getting a player of that caliber at triple digits at 100 to 1.
There's another storyline here. There's another storyline here. Bud Cauley almost died. Remember? It was at the Memorial Tournament. He had an accident, Gabe. He was on a medical exemption at this tournament. It took him a while to get it back. Like, he got very emotional when I'm watching Golf Channel. Wouldn't that be a great storyline to come back to Jack's place and be in contention? Because this is a guy, Justin Thomas's best man at his wedding, University of Alabama. Bud Cauley almost won last week. The wind picked up. He put one in the water and took a double. Brady, he was right there. I had him at 80 to 1. Watch out for Bud Cauley, Gabe. He is hot, hot, hot right now. And he was supposed to be one of the best golfers, but he almost died in a car accident. And it happened at this tournament.
Whenever I hear Bud Cauley's name,
coming back.
Yeah. I always think of Bud Collins, the former Wimbledon analyst.
Yes.
Bud Collins. It comes out. I always think Bud Collins. Oh, Bud Cauley.
Good name, though. Bud Cauley. It's good.
Just random blast for the past. Bud Collins. That's what you know in summer, watching Wimbledon with Bud Collins.
Here's your BetMGM splits. Highest, no surprise, highest ticket percentage, highest handle, biggest liability, Mr. Scotty Scheffler. 44% of the money is on Scheffler. Second biggest ticket count is Morikawa. Third biggest ticket count is Schauffele. And Scheffler's got almost 19%. Morikawa and Schauffele are like 6 and 7%, much lower than Scotty. But biggest liabilities, Scotty number 1, Xander number 2, Ludwig Åberg number 3. And I don't want any part of Åberg right now these days, guys. His iron play has really fallen off, and he can't find a hot putter at all either. He's in a little bit of a funk right now.
I'm surprised that Jordan Spieth isn't part of the public plays here a little bit.
There's so many stars in the field, you know?
I know. Yeah. Listen, I jumped in on Spieth. I was feeling it. I guess it was at the major. I wanted to be part of, he's going to get the Grand Slam. That blew up on me, but I like where you're going with this. I almost want to I'm going to get a little piece of Spieth at 50 to 1. Cam, who do you like this week? Who do you got?
Brady and I have a couple of the same guys, but I went a little bit deeper on the board. And I know one thing about this tournament, guys get up for it. Brady's right. It's hard to find good underdogs. I do like his Cauley play. I'm on Victor Hovland. He's won this tournament before at 35 to 1. Gabe, one of my favorite bets this week is Hideki Matsuyama. One thing about being a Japanese golfer, the respect for Nicholas in the game, Hideki always brings his A game to this tournament. A win, multiple top 5s, and that price at 38 to 1. Brady, we're riding the Irish Bear. Me, you, and Carver let the bear out of the cage this week at 40 to 1. If his putter's hot, he could win this tournament. He'll be there. Dangerous Denny McCarthy at 55. And the big, it's not a corn eating contest with those choppers, but Matt Fitzpatrick, if he's going to win anywhere, it's at Memorial. Great track record here. I only got a 5-pack this week because of the reduced field.
I love the Denny McCarthy play, and you guys, I'll let you in on this. I've got 4 plays for the U.S. Open coming up in 2 weeks. Denny McCarthy's a guy I added last night at 150 to 1. If you look at those leaderboards from Oakmont, that's where we're going back to, Oakmont in Pennsylvania. In 94, Ernie Els won. In 2007, Angel Cabrera won. And in 2016, it was Dustin Johnson. But if you look at the rest of the guys on the top 10, top 20 of the leaderboard, it is just littered with your prototypical U.S. Open, Lee Janzen, Payne Stewart, Jim Furyk, Jeff Maggart, Corey Pavin type guy. And I've got Denny McCarthy, who I think is right up that alley. Sepp Straka, accurate driver of the golf ball striker, Tommy Fleetwood, and Harris English. I think those guys are all, when you look up U.S. Open in the dictionary, you see a picture of those 4 guys. Harris English, Tommy Fleetwood, Straka, and McCarthy.
Who's the only golfer to win 2 majors in a week, Brady? Jail swag, Angel Cabrera. That tournament ended Monday and he won again. Right. Gabe, this guy got out of jail. He's won 2 majors on the senior tour. Angel Cabrera, fresh from the clink, win-win. This guy's on fire.
He's a danger to society.
Ching.
He's a danger to society and to golf fields. Yes.
What about
Denny McCarthy, man?
I was going to say, what about JT Poston this week, guys? As like a top 20 type of player. I know he stumbled at the U.S. Open, but he was racking up top 20s and top 25s before that.
Excellent
really good
point.
player.
Brady will tell you. He
very similar to Denny McCarthy.
Great call. I would say he's Denny McCarthy Jr. Great off the tee. His iron play is fantastic. Poston's
great
a street
short
putter,
game
too. Yep. Yeah. When he's hot with his
And
putter,
you
Gabe,
can
I
play
think
him
that's
for
a
the
really
U.S.
good
Open
play.
if you want to. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, no.
Poston's
This
good pick.
week,
Top 20.
next week in Canada, the following week at Oakmont. Yep. I was on him last week at Colonial.
Me too.
And he fell off on Sunday, but no, very good player.
So it's like
I was paying attention to your Campbell play too. He didn't end up
Gabe's
top
boy.
20, did he?
He played well.
No, he didn't. But I was hoping that he was going to be the first round leader, like 150 to 1.
Oh, one of your first round leaders was
wow.
Novak. I think Novak was like 5th or 6th because I checked your picks and I said same guys. Yeah, Novak was way.
God, Florida just scored.
You got to be kidding me. Yeah, dude, if this game
There's
went
the
to-
over 7.5. Should have taken it. I was talking about, it'll go over to 7.5. There it is. It's 4-3 now, but there's 8 minutes, 7.5 left.
You
There's
said
going to
it,
be more
man.
goals.
Like Carolina, they score and then Florida's just unreal. These guys just know when to pounce.
Go
What can you
Edmonton.
say?
Well, they don't get the thing is with Florida, they don't get down when the other team scores. They've been through so much, so they don't panic. They don't get the same emotional letdown that other teams would get, you know?
True. That hurt.
Edmonton are going to beat them this time, though, Brady. I'm on the Oilers
I think
as
you're
well.
right. Revenge, baby.
You know, I don't like
Yep.
the term team of destiny because that means you're not very good, but I think they got destiny and skill on their side. No, it's true. A team, you know what I mean? A Cinderella team of destiny.
Yeah.
They're 11-2 in their last 13 games. That's not destiny. That's facts.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
And if you go through CAT, that means CAT at 11-1 could be Eastern Conference Finals MVP. The worst team in the WNBA is the Chicago Sky. They have no perimeter play. They're playing too many minutes. And Angel Reese doesn't have the help she needs.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
I actually like the fact that they went 7 games against a quality opponent here and still had to face adversity even in a game number 7. How are we setting up this next series with a rested Minnesota Timberwolves team taking on OKC fresh from the fight here?
They had an extremely, maybe it's just too strong a statement to say, easier pathway than people thought, particularly because of their size.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Morency, and as I stated, didn't happen a minute after, but the Florida Panthers, it's really hard to score on them 2 times in a row in these big games. You get them once, and they don't get rattled, right? So, you know, they're same with Edmonton. Edmonton gets scored on, like they have no emotion. Like you'll notice, you know what I mean? Like the Oilers kind of, like Connor McDavid looks the same, whether they're winning 4-1 or down 4-1. Jeter, I remember Derek Jeter was like that. I remember once, Yankees were down in like a playoff game. It was like 4-1 in the 8th or something. And Jeter looked so calm. And I was like, I don't know how this guy looks so calm. They're about to be eliminated. Yankees ended up winning. You know what I mean? It was one of those, You got to stay calm. Mookie Betts talks about that all the time. You got to stay calm. And a good example, like the Leafs, right? Panthers score a couple of goals. Leafs look like teenagers whose girlfriends just left them, right? It's like they're fighting back tears and their lips are quivering on
It's
the
a
bench.
great call, Gabe. It happened tonight,
You
too.
know?
The idiot on the Panthers, Kotkaniemi, takes a penalty when they're up 2-0. They score, they panic, they score again. They scored 3 goals in a minute and a half. Carolina was up 2-0 controlling this game. You said it. They panicked, they freaked out, and then the Panthers pounce. That's why they're going probably to the Stanley Cup final, man. These guys they're pros. They're seasoned vets.
As Paul Bovey knows, mental toughness, very underappreciated aspect, skill of life and in sports, Paula, and in betting, mental toughness.
That's right. And you know what? I go way back with the Florida Panthers because I was there for their inaugural year, which I believe was 1993. But I got to tell you, Gabe, this show saved me a lot of money last week, a lot of money. And I'll tell you how. Because I had to call in at 10:40, and they were in the waning moments of that game. And I'm going to always remember your Halliburton call as I was online with you. And that always it's been resonating with me the entire week. The ball is up in the air.
Yeah, well, right up.
They won it. Okay, so I would have went full-blown Johnny Depp on the hotel room, I'm sure, if I was watching the game. Okay. And there was nothing around but glasses or whatever I could grab a hold of and just fling. So I'm actually glad I was online. I've told the story a few times.
That's great. So have you had any other meltdowns? Because this series has been a pretty stressful series. If you're really into it, and you obviously are, have you smashed anything? Have you had any meltdowns watching this series?
No, I've taken a new tact. Like the game that they won, 106-100, I actually left. I said, I got to go down, get something to eat. They were down by 20. And then they crept back in the game, took a lead, and then I turned it off with 8 minutes to go. I refused to watch it. Flipped it back on. I think it was 102-100 or something like that. So that one actually worked out. But I'm not even going to the game tomorrow night. I don't want to be there for the funeral if it happens. I'm hoping that it doesn't, but I'm just going to sit back. I'll probably go to a bar. I want to go to a public place, have a few beers, and just hope for the best.
You're staying away. You're staying away. You'll if there's a game 7, you'll go to a game 7, I guess.
Oh, yeah, I will be there for game 7. There is no question. I'll be there for game 7. So
I like that though, Paul. I do the same thing. Like I travel to games and stuff, and I always cross my mind. I'm like, I'd rather go to a game where I think we're going to win. I'll never forget, Michigan played Villanova in the national championship game. And I was going to go to, I was talking the whole tournament about how I'm going to go to the game, Michigan, if they make it to the final and all this. And then when it was set, I was like, I'm not going to San Antonio to watch them lose to Villanova. I didn't want to say it publicly because I didn't want to, be negative. But Michigan got killed, Paul. And I said right after, that's why I didn't go to San Antonio. I've been there. It sucks. You know what it was like, Paul, when you're a fan? You wake up the next morning in some city. You're like, I can't believe I made this trip here. You're in the hotel. You got to go back to the airport, all for some stupid game that you lost. If you win, it's completely different.
Yeah. Well, I might, maybe my mindset will change a few minutes before the game, and I'll say I should have went. But I'm just going to live with the decision and hope that the Knicks can somehow pull this out. Because realistically, to win this series, we only have to win one game in Indiana on the road, because if it gets to a game 7, we do have an advantage there. There is no question. We know how these game 7s play out in the NBA generally.
Knicks have had a hard time at MSG in the playoffs, though, right? This is where they lose. They're actually better. They're better on the road for whatever reason. Well, I think I know the reason. The pressure and the expectations. So we'll get to tomorrow's game. What do you think, Paul, of the blowout tonight? Kind of predictable, wasn't it? I don't want to say it was free money, but it kind of felt like Minnesota didn't really have a hope in hell tonight.
Well, I lost interest early on, except I had Julius Randle over 16.5 points, winner. And Naz Reid has been a perfect storm of unders. He's gone under by a half a point like every game. One game they pulled him just because it was a blowout, and he got stuck at 10. So I had to go back to the well tonight at 9.5, and I got on the show. He was at 8. I don't expect him to go over because it's the way it's played out for 5 straight games. And what is there? 4 minutes left, 3 minutes left.
Yeah, 114.79 right now. Under 4 minutes left, so it's all over but the crying here. Oklahoma, we were talking about this earlier, about the highest number we've seen for a favorite. You have a pretty good memory, Paul, for this stuff. Oklahoma City are minus 600 right now. Like, I remember being blown away over the last 3-4 years, and you and I talking about it all the time, saying, man, yeah, the Celtics are good, but they shouldn't be minus 160 favorites or minus 200 favorites. And that was high, and the Celtics were a dominant team, in recent years. Like, we were talking about the Warrior numbers. When the Warriors played the Raptors, I think the Raptors were like plus 120 only or something. You know what I mean? It might have been plus 130. I think the Warriors might have been minus 180 or something in the series. But can you recall, like, when's the last time a team's been this big of a favorite, Paul? Hell, even the Bulls weren't this big of favorites against teams when they played.
I can't recall. And I would give Indiana a puncher's chance just because they can get very hot from the outside. The 2 regular season games didn't go well for them, but we'll see what happens.
All right, more on the other side. Let's roll. Pacers are plus 500 right now.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
And if you go through CAT, that means CAT at 11-1 could be Eastern Conference Finals MVP. The worst team in the WNBA is the Chicago Sky. They have no perimeter play. They're playing Sloot too many minutes. And Angel Reese doesn't have the help she needs.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
I actually like the fact that they went 7 games against a quality opponent here and still had to face adversity even in a game number 7. How are we setting up this next series where they rested Minnesota Timberwolves team taking on OKC fresh from the fight here?
They had an extremely, maybe it's just too strong of a statement to say, easier pathway than people thought, particularly because of their size.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple 18.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Well, the Florida Panthers are going back to the Stanley Cup Finals for the 3rd consecutive year. Not easy to do. You got to tip your cap to them. Not an easy accomplishment. They're up 5-3 right now with 54 seconds left. It would take a sheer miracle for the Hurricanes to win. They were down 4-3. They're on the power play. I don't always agree with pulling the goalie when you're on the power play late in the game because the other team can, it's not icing anymore because it's, they got the power play. It's not icing anymore, so they can shoot for the net. So I'm not a fan of it, but they didn't do it right away, so I don't have a problem with it. Like, they didn't pull the goalie right away on the power play. They let it go for like a minute, and then they said, all right, pull the freaking goalie. I thought Brind'Amour handled it well, and quite frankly, they had their shot, right? They got the puck right in the slot, point-blank range. They missed the net. There was another shot that went like right through the crease, and Aho had a chance to sort of bury it, and it went past him. There was like 2 chances that they were their chances to score. It was like, yeah, those were your 2 chances. And then eventually, whatever, Florida just outworked them, dumped the puck down the ice, beat them down the ice. I think it was Bennett and empty netter, 5-3. All over but the crying. Cam Stewart's about to cry right now. Feels like Paul Bovey with the black curtains.
I feel like
Knicks down 3-1.
Should have turned off the TV and gone for a walk, but we're working right now. And that's unfortunate, Gabe. They had many chances there. They're just snake bit. Hey, man, good on Florida. Carolina had a 2-0 lead in this game, buddy. They take an offensive zone penalty, and the rest is history. 3 goals in a minute and a half. That's what Stanley Cup champions do. They find ways to beat you, even when they're getting dominated early. They weather the storm and come back. They're a great hockey team.
Yeah, Carolina just, they let them off the hook. They really could have got back in this series. You have a 2-0 lead. You're on home ice, but we all know that the 2-0 lead is a dreaded lead in hockey. I don't know what it is, Paul. It's like, in football, when a team is up 14-0, like the other team doesn't automatically always make it 14-14. But in hockey, it's almost inevitable. It's like, it's 2-0 and it'll be 2-2 after, but it's, it happens all the time. It's good for betting. So 5-3, and as far as the basketball game is concerned, God, how torturous. How torturous. 124-94. So we get close to the total. You can't. Oh, God. When it was all said and done, it got that close, and Minnesota just could have given us a little bit more. 124-94 is the final score. The Oklahoma City Thunder punch a ticket, just like the Canes have a power play now, but there's only 28 seconds left. But now the Thunder punch their ticket to the NBA Finals. Our boy SGA getting it done. Paul, you and I talked about this a lot during the season, about how heavily favored they were all the time and what big favorites they were. And like, all right, let's see them get tested in the playoffs. They're a young team. I think they've proven that they can handle getting tested. I think Denver was probably their toughest test, just dealing with Jokic and old school pick and roll basketball. They absolutely murdered Memphis. They murdered Minnesota. I'm with you. I think the Pacers, can run with them a bit, but ultimately, I don't want to lay 600, but this team is damn good. We got to tip our cap to them, Paul. Like, even when they don't play well, they still win by 40. Like, you know what I mean? Even when they don't shoot well, they still blow you out.
They look like the real deal. I don't think they've covered a game on the road this series. They've managed to win games, but they haven't been covering the number. And this makes the Nuggets look even that much better, considering how they demolished the T-Wolves here. And although if Minnesota had pulled that last game out, which they succumbed by 2 points, of course, we'd be talking a little bit differently, and it would be a 3-2 series now. Just the same as the Knicks. If they don't blow that first game, it's 2-2, headed back to New York, and the Knicks are possibly on the cusp of winning the series. But these games, especially Indiana, New York, they've been close. Indiana, in the 4 games, 10-point differential in favor of the Pacers. So they really haven't gotten the best of it point-wise, but they have that 3-1 lead, and it's going to be hard for the Knicks to overcome that.
So the big story coming into tomorrow as well is Karl Anthony Towns, right? So Karl Anthony Towns, is he going to play? He's questionable for this game. What's your feel, Paul? What are you hearing about this? He's got a left knee contusion. That's the official medical report for Karl Anthony Towns. He's listed as questionable right now. The odds makers don't seem to be they seem to be too concerned about it, though. It's 4.5, and it's 4 right now, right?
Well, his player props are up, and I don't think it's much of an issue, but we'll see.
More with Paul on the other side. Let's roll.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
And if you go through CAT, that means CAT at 11-1 could be Eastern Conference Finals MVP. The worst team in the WNBA is the Chicago Sky. They have no perimeter play. They're playing too many minutes. And Angel Reese doesn't have the help she needs.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
I actually like the fact that they went 7 games against a quality opponent here and still had to face adversity even in a game number 7. How are we setting up this next series with a rested Minnesota Timberwolves team taking on OKC fresh from the fight here?
They had an extremely, maybe it's just too strong of a statement to say, easier pathway than people thought, particularly because of their size.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple 15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I am Morency. So I guess there was an awkward exchange between Maurice and Brindamore. I'll get to the bottom of it. I did not see it. I'll check out the video of it. But I can tell you, I gave you 5 MLS picks earlier tonight for the early games. And we were 3-0 as we came into the show. And then we had two more pending. But they were both draws, plus 280. You know what I mean? So, it is what it is. You don't expect to win them all. But we nailed it. So now we're 4-0. We hit a nice plus 275 draw. Now, so we're 4-0. And now we got another one going here. But I got another draw here with Salt Lake and Austin. And they're in the 86th minute. It's 1-0. But 4-1 with a plus 275. We'll take it. Yeah, MLS has been a little bread and butter for me, Paul. Like coming into tonight, it was like, all right, that's where my main money's going tonight. I'm going to hit Oklahoma City, the NHL games for fun. And I'm going to smash the MLS games tonight. Hell, I've gone to 6 of them, Paul. So I'm seeing these teams live and stuff. I'm really into it. So a nice start here. We're on the under in Portland, Colorado, under 2.5. That's scoreless in the 23rd minute. But we're on the over Vancouver, Minnesota, over 2.5. We got Vancouver, whatever. It's scoreless in the 22nd minute. But still early in a soccer game. All right. So as far as tomorrow is concerned, are the Knicks going to extend this thing? And I want to quickly break something up. I brought it up. The Knicks, this is the thing when you play in these like celebrity type environments. It doesn't freak other players out, right? Like looking over and seeing Larry David sitting there courtside or Ben Stiller or whatnot, right? It's not, it's not, it'd be better if they had like crazy people like Bovey actually sitting courtside here than the celebrities. But I think Boomer Esiason took it a little too far when he's blaming the celebrities that's why they're losing.
Yeah, well,
what? Come on.
It's like, no, they're not. It's not. It ain't Ben Stiller's fault. It's the New York Knicks turning the ball over 17 times last night, Paul. For the love of God, they had 17 assists and 17 turnovers. Tyrese Halliburton alone by himself had 15 assists and 0 turnovers. There's your ball game.
I'll tell you what the ball game is, that you can't put Towns and Brunson on the court at the same time because they lack defensively. They have a negative rating when those two guys are playing together. And each one of those independently of the other has a positive rating. Problem is defensively, Brunson has been a sieve. He's a minus 24 for the series. And I mentioned prior, that Indiana had outscored them by 10. So they're not doing well. They're not flourishing with Jalen Brunson on the court at this point. So you got your two main scorers who can't play together. So we got to see what happens there. They got to do better. Can they win this? I believe that they can, but of course, maybe my fanhood is projecting itself right now. But I do believe that they can win this game because, look, these games have been very close. And somehow Indiana has gotten the better of it down the stretch. The Knicks drew close last night. Indiana got the better of it. They were up by 11, 12, 14 points. And then all of a sudden, the Knicks closed to within 7, and it looked like, hey, this could happen. But it just didn't, and they fell a little bit short.
Do they have the killer instinct is the question. Do the Pacers have – because I think the Pacers are better. So if the Pacers want to win the game, I think they can win the game. I know it's not as simple as that, but you know what I'm saying? Like if they show up and they have that like hunger, but as you stated, I mean, they've all been close, but the Pacers just seem to get the better of them more often than not here. What's your pick for tomorrow, Cabinet game? The Pacers or the Knicks?
I think the Knicks might.
The term that you refer to is house money. Okay. So the Pacers are kind of playing with house money right now. They know they have in their hip pocket Game 6 in Indiana. All right. So they're going to come in a little bit more loosey-goosey, which actually benefits them. The Knicks, the pressure is on. They can't lose. This is do or die. So in that regard, I think the Pacers have an advantage. But the Knicks, with their back against the wall, they have shown a lot of resiliency. They've come back from 20-point deficits against the Celtics twice, 11 points against the Pistons. They lost the second home game against the Pistons. And then the other night in that 106-100 game, they were down by 20, and they managed to overcome the deficit and go on and win the basketball game. And if you look at the games this year, they've been pretty close. The Knicks have actually outscored the Pacers. So I'm not sure that they're the better team. But what Tibbs did do last night is he got the bench involved. And the best players on the court last night, as it applied to plus minus, was Wright and Shamat, whatever his name is. They were a plus 11 and a plus 6. Nobody else was there. Those were the two best players in limited minutes. So he played a 5-man rotation off the bench, and I think he's got to get those bench players involved, even though Precious Achiuwa, 2 minutes. I don't know why he even brought him in the game. But I think the Knicks can still win this game and send it back to Indiana. And at that point, who knows what happens.
Looking back on things, guys, I always say after when trades are made, people always want to, the winners and losers and this team won the trade, this team lost the trade, etc. I guess it was kind of a wash, right, with Minnesota and the Knicks, Paul, right, with Randall and Cat, right? I mean, Randall's kind of hit a wall a little bit, but he did play well in the playoffs. But both teams get to the conference finals. And I know New Yorkers are going to be upset about things, and, the Knicks fans are passionate and stuff, but it's all like the Leaf Cam, like BX has said. Every other team is trying to. You guys just think it's like more important to you somehow than other people. Like where I'm going with this, Paul, is you're a diehard Knicks fan. All in all, I guess, they kind of peaked. This is, who they are. I don't think you thought they were an NBA championship caliber team. They made it to the conference finals. They got to figure out a way to get over the top now.
Yeah, well, you get to the point where you upset the Celtics, and I thought they were going to beat Indiana. Look, I'm going to go down.
Without Jason Tatum, I think they were going to beat them anyways. It looked like they were, but let's be real. Jason Tatum did get hurt.
Well, they were up at that point.
Well,
come on. Jason Tatum, they were down by 9 points. When Jason Tatum went out of the game, they were down by 9 points that game. So they weren't going to win that game. And then the Celtics come back.
I think the Knicks were going to win the series anyways. I said it. I just said it.
Yeah, okay. All right. So, but you backhandedly said, first you said, well, Jason Tatum, but the Knicks going to win. I don't know.
He is pretty good. He is a
I
pretty
know
good player.
exactly what you did there. Okay.
I know you're
But
saying
anyway.
too, Paul. Like when you beat a team like the Celtics, you're like, hey, we'll take care of the Pacers. But the problem is the Pacers run and gun. They play that fast-paced style. Carlisle's out coaching Tibbs. Like Tibbs looks like he's gonna like have a heart attack every time I look at the guy. Just like lunch, you know what I mean? It's just like, dude, like Indiana's good.
But the Pacers are a more complete team. Like the Knicks have a bunch of dudes that are kind of the same.
The Pacers have then if you call a better bench, a superior bench, a more complete team, yes, they do, because TJ McConnell could be starting for pretty much any team. The guy is amazing. He gets into the paint constantly and just wreaks havoc and scores points and dishes out assists. So they have a better bench. There is no question about that. But I'm going to look for the Knicks to level this out or potentially level this out in Indiana and win the game tomorrow night.
All right, if you're in Manhattan tomorrow night, look for Pop Obi at a local Irish pub.
Yeah, local tavern.
Be over at Jake O'Sullivan's.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
All right, let's roll. Let's do this thing. It's too bad that Carolina couldn't hang on. I was lamenting a lot. I don't use that word a lot, but I believe it's a word. Lamenting a lot about how this series kind of sucked, that it was boring. Tonight was good. Like I watched the first few minutes. The basketball was starting at 8:30. That started at 8, so I'm watching the first few minutes of the game. And I was like, I even tweeted. I said, I admit this is good hockey. It's entertaining. It was a very good game. I've been off in this series. I ended up taking Carolina tonight, even though I've been on Florida a lot of the series. I thought, I think Carolina might be able to rattle off a couple of wins here, make this a series, and I was feeling pretty good about myself when they were winning early. I was pulling the Barry Horowitz. I was like, man, what a pick. Yeah. It was like, great pick. No, not a great pick. The Florida Panthers end up winning the hockey game 5-3. Oklahoma City rolls. They're both going to the finals. Let's bring in our main man, Kiev O'Neill, in the house here tonight. A lot of stuff to get to. And last night we had Vegas Matty on, actually. It was a proxy for the for the contest in Vegas. There's a new one, too. There's a college football contest over at the Westgate this year. Football contest season is in the air. Do you get involved into these contests, Kiev, over the years? Are you have you played the Circa before, the Superbook contest?
I've been in the Circa every single year, my friend. Well, year 2 it started. I was sold in year 2 finally to make the switch, and the Circa's been great to us over at the Odds Breakers. We have a partnership over there. I'm going to be flying in for the contest weekend where we throw a big bash out at the Circa. We go into Radio Row and we talk about the wonderful contest there. I love the millions.
$15 million this year.
What's
15
that?
million. 15 they're expecting 15 million minimum for the Survivor. Maybe 20 million when it's all said and done. Think about that. $20 million.
Dude, it's 21 guaranteed, not even including the Grandissimo, where it's like $100,000 buy-in. Little bit too much for myself, but I'll definitely be getting back in the Survivor, the normal Survivor, which Derek Stevens just knows how to step it up, and he's got a lock on these contests. Upping it to 15 million guaranteed. Last year we had 14.2 million people in, and it came down to 7-8 people who got to chop that thing. A couple groups get in. I'd like to get in myself because I don't like being told what to do, and I'll make my picks. But the millions is a sports bettors one. You try to wait as long as possible, and the great thing about the millions is that there's many ways to win. Gabe, you can do it every single quarter, make $150,000. You just got to go on a streak, right? Get on a streak and win that baby, and you're never really out of it because of those quarterlies.
No, it is a great, there's always a great buzz, and that's a big week, the media week that they have. But I usually enter on the Saturday before the season starts. So like Labor Day weekend. And just that last rush, you got the college games on at the Circa, and it's almost like, it's like back to school, except in a good way. It's like, oh yeah, here we go. It's almost like when you see a Phil Steele magazine on a rack or a Lindy's, you know what I mean? You look up, you're like, oh, there's a college football preview magazine. Summer's here and the season's around the corner. And I feel the same way now, with these contests. It's like, hey, it's June. Kiev, it's actually 99 days now away from NFL kickoff. We're less than 100 days away. It's real. It's time to get into these contests.
It's a very exciting time. And what's great about this time of year is I get to kind of relax. I just do my baseball, do my NBA, get it done in the morning. It's not like crazy watching the lines like it is all year during football, college football, NFL. And it's kind of relaxing because I'm just doing my season win totals and doing my previews over at the Odds Breakers. And, we've always been really sharp on the season win totals. We've cashed out pretty well on them. We'd like to get ahead of some of the moves. And we've already released some shows, talking about some of the early plays that we've been making. And but yeah, 99 days away. I get more and more excited. It's July when it's really, really bothering me, my man, when the NBA is over, when NHL is over, and you got baseball. But you're really ready for some football by July.
Yeah, I'm fired up. I always tell people this, and I'll bring it up actually, because I look at a lot of the NFL win totals and even college football win totals, and I'm like, oh, I like this, I like that. But if you're going to bet something before camp starts, guys, only really bet the under, right? Because only bad things can happen at camp. So, if you like an under on a season win total, you don't have to worry about training camp. Nothing's going to change. They're not suddenly going to get better. Jerry Rice isn't going to be 22 years old and come out of retirement and play for them. So, they can only get worse. You know what I mean? They can't get better. They can only get worse. Quarterbacks only get hurt in camp, right? Good things can't happen. So I'm always hesitant to bet overs of a team, right? A good example is I remember last year I bet the over on the Vikings. They ended up going over anyways, but they got, I was like, God damn, man. Now Sam Darnold's a quarterback. I was betting on J.J. McCarthy. Well, Sam Darnold ended up having a great year, right? So it sort of worked there. But I'm more of a fan of betting unders in advance.
Yeah.
But as far as the NBA is concerned, big blowout tonight for Oklahoma City. Kind of not a surprise, was it?
No, not a surprise. I was a little hesitant to take the line. My friends were trying to ask me about the over. I'm like, don't take the over until it's live. Then you kind of see what's going on. It keeps going down and down and down. And I waited till it got down to 207 and I fired at the over. And I look about 2-3 minutes later, it's down to 200. I'm like, Jesus, am I really in this bad? I got 14 points of line value from the closing line. I actually got pretty fortunate at the end that they just quit playing defense completely. Minnesota just didn't show up. They threw in the towel in that game, and it was Oklahoma City's game to just advance. And I probably should have laid the points in that one. The large spread really told you something in that. But one I was pretty comfortable just doing a little live betting on. I can't unfortunately give out plays when it comes to live betting, but it's certainly, if you know what you're doing and know when to wait, it's smart to do it in the NBA. For tomorrow's game, though. And you have that team you just keep riding, Gabe, that keeps cashing for you, that keeps you above
That's the Pacers.
The Pacers have been doing it for me. I've been betting them the last month every single time. I'm not going to not bet them, man. It went from 4.5 to 5.5 today. It's back to 4.5. I don't care what the close is. I think it's going to get back to 5.5 by noon tomorrow. That's when I'm going to fire in on the Pacers. Why stop a good thing right now?
I've been riding the Pacers on an every game-by-game basis, and the Oilers are another one. For the Oilers, I'm like, I'm just taking the Oilers again.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
And if you go through CAT, that means CAT at 11-1 could be Eastern Conference Finals MVP. The worst team in the WNBA is the Chicago Sky. They have no perimeter play. They're playing Sloot too many minutes. And Angel Reese doesn't have the help she needs.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
I actually like the fact that they went 7 games against a quality opponent here and still had to face adversity even in a game number 7. How are we setting up this next series where they rested Minnesota Timberwolves team taking on OKC fresh from the fight here?
They had an extremely, maybe it's just too strong a statement to say, easier pathway than people thought, particularly because of their size.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple 18.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I'm Morency. Just a quick Memorial Cup update. There was all these games going on tonight, including Moncton and Rimouski played again. These guys just played a 7-game series or a 6-game series, whatever it was, in the Quebec Major Junior Championship. They both made the Memorial Cup. They played each other again in an elimination game tonight, and Moncton gets the best of them again. So I think we do have the 3 best teams, though, remaining. So you got Moncton will take on London now on Friday, and Medicine Hat will play the winner on Sunday for the winner of the Memorial Cup. And next year's number 1 draft pick in the NHL draft, Gavin McKenna, plays for the Medicine Hat Tigers, and he's lighting it up. He had like 2 goals and 2 assists in one of the games here. He's looking the part for them. Kiev O'Neill. Yeah, it's like, you know what, Kiev, it's all like the prospects of the NHL. So it's almost like it's not college, but think like March Madness or like the College Baseball World Series. Like it's the best sort of like junior hockey teams from Canada, and the leagues play against each other in this tournament. And you're in Arizona, which is college baseball country. It's big sports country, but big college baseball country. Gamblu's going to join us tomorrow night. He likes betting on this stuff, and he's actually from Omaha and stuff, so it's close to his heart. But you know, and I know, it's been a couple of years, isn't it? Like, I think betting had a big part of it. Skeens had a part of it, making it bigger, but it was before Skeens, too. It's been about 3-4 years now. College baseball really starting to take off. One of the hottest tickets in sports in Omaha now all the time.
It certainly is, and it's a fun time to get in. And Gamlu is a friend of mine, and we do text. And Gamlu gets ahead of it. He really enjoys the game, and you enjoy the passion of it, man. And they're shorter series, and there's these teams that you've never heard of, and you're like, no, that's a really good baseball college. There's a lot of
Dallas Baptist. Yeah, they're very good. Teams like that. Yeah. It's true, Ken. Like Dallas Baptist, they're good. Like they're in the world. They're in this regional. Like they're tough. They're a tough out.
Amazing.
Grand Canyon down the road, man. They're fun too. Yeah. And there's just all kinds of great college baseball teams, and it is getting so fun just because I think people love that tournament atmosphere, and it maybe it has grown from like the NCAA tournament and stuff like that, but that's exactly what it is. It's a big long tournament, and it's not single elimination, of course, like normal playoffs, but or like college basketball, I should say. But it's great to watch, and the kids play with heart, and they're not getting paid yet. Maybe that very top of the top, but that the NIL money is pretty much reserved for football and basketball. There's a few out there that make a few bucks from playing baseball, but it's nothing like college football, obviously. And that's the kind of stuff you want to watch, and it's going to be fun to bet on.
You know what's ironic? Actually, it's true. There's some money in it, but the big time women players, softball players, make more money than the men do. Actually, there's a girl that's on Texas Tech. She was at Stanford. They paid her $2 million, man. It's like, wow, Texas Tech is paying a pitcher $2 million a year. Well, you know what I mean? That's serious. No one on LSU is making $2 million right now. They're a damn good team and a big time program, right? But it's the pipeline to the major leagues, etc. What I like too is I got a book here that lets me parlay the regional winners, because there's a lot of big favorites here, right, for the regional winners. But like Tennessee's not losing in Knoxville. Wake Forest are pretty good, but they're going to beat them. They got Miami of Ohio and Cincinnati. Like Tennessee are going to win that group. And I'm high on this Ole Miss team, and they're hosting a regional too, Oxford. Except Georgia Tech are pretty good. So Ole Miss are plus 110, Georgia Tech are plus 130, Western Kentucky plus 950, Murray State 14-1. So we only got about a minute and a half here, Kiev. What do you think about? So you're liking the Pacers again? The more you've been riding the wave, but. Is Oklahoma City beatable in the finals, do you think? Or is this a fait accompli that they're going to win?
I mean, beatable to 6 games, I would say. Oklahoma City just plays that shutdown defense. And I just feel that they're the only team that really matches up well with the Pacers. The Pacers have a ton of depth. And, man, don't get me wrong. The series price, I'm not going to bet the favorite on this. I'm not going to. I think that I wouldn't say the Pacers are extremely live or anything, but they have a shot. They have a puncher's chance to win and steal a game in Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City has not been bulletproof, let's say. I mean, Denver, kind of like a depleted type Denver team kind of came in and gave them a lot of problems. And, maybe the depth comes through for the Pacers. And the Pacers right now, why are they dogs to the Knicks like this? Because the zig and zag of the NBA? It's not the way I'm looking at it, man. They're the better team than the Knicks. They're clearly the team that should be favored in this. So I'm happy to take 4.5, but if I can get a 5.5,
good. Kiev O'Neill, always good, my man.
All right.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
And if they go through Cat, that means Cat at 11-1 could be Eastern Conference Finals MVP. The worst team in the WNBA is the Chicago Sky. They have no perimeter play. They're playing too many minutes. And Angel Reese doesn't have the help she needs.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
I actually like the fact that they went 7 games against a quality opponent here and still had to face adversity even in a game number 7. How are we setting up this next series with a rested Minnesota Timberwolves team taking on OKC fresh from the fight here?
They had an extremely, maybe it's just too short of a statement to say, easier pathway than people thought, particularly because of their size.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of 18.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Morency. Thanks to Kiev O'Neill for joining us on the program. You know what? We've been lighting up the MLS tonight. We've been killing it. But Colorado Rapids are up 1-0 at the half on the Portland Timbers. That's somewhat of a surprise. And I got to be careful with these Whitecap games. The Whitecaps like pull a carpet out from underneath us a lot when it comes to their starting lineup. And they play so much because of this CONCACAF champion stuff. So, like, they played like an extra 8 games, like, on top of their MLS schedule.
Good point.
And yeah, Cameron, they don't take breaks in the MLS for them. Like, they gave them the option, though. They said, all right, if you don't want to play, but I understand it was a smart move. Otherwise, the coach was like, nah, man, we're going to be off all week. Like, let's keep our routine going, like, a little bit. You know,
love that,
so they had the
That's
choice.
kind of a champion. Like, what most guys, sure, we'll take some time off and get ready for one of the biggest games. The fact that you're taking on a challenge when you're playing that much shows you a lot about this team. And that's why a part of the reason doing so well, because you know what I mean? Some people would go, yeah, we'll take the break. No, don't take the break. Keep on playing. That's the right thing to do. Remember at the end of the English Premier, I watched out Crystal Palace. These guys went on fire. They kept on playing and winning and winning and winning and playing well. It happens, man. It's like they're streaky for a reason. And I think it's a great decision by the coach to play.
Mexico City on Sunday night, biggest game in Whitecap history. They're having a party outside, actually. It's the first time they've ever done that before. Like, they've never had success before. So, like, Sunday night outside of BC Place. But the money does go to charity. It goes to the Terry Fox Foundation. So it's like minimum $5 donation to get in, but there's only room for 2,500 people. But they're like fencing it off, and they sell food. Like it says, no outside drinks, no outside alcohol or food allowed. Like it said, will be for sale. So, yeah, you know what? I kind of want to. I'm a hardcore fan. It'd be a fun time, especially if they win, to be in that atmosphere out there. It's going to be the biggest viewing party in the city, that's for sure. Thing is, I'm going to see the Wallflowers on Saturday night.
One headlight.
One headlight. 6th Avenue Heartbreak. A heartache.
You guys actually have a couple good songs. That's,
I like the Wallflowers.
Right.
I've seen them before. I saw them when they came out originally, like 20 years ago or whatever. But I'm going to see them at a local casino. And I know myself, and it's hard for me to go hard 2 days in a row.
For sure.
So the plan is we'll see. And then the following week, the same thing. I'm going to see Snoop Dogg Snoop Dogg is playing the BC Lion game. Last year it was 50 Cent. They always get a big rapper. The year before it's LL Cool J came. Yeah. Every year I see some big rapper. So I'm going to see Snoop Dogg and then the BC Lion game, except that's the first Whitecap game back after the Mexico game. So, like, if they win the championship, the CONCACAF championship, I got to welcome them back. You know what I'm saying?
Snoop Dogg will like BC. Like, he'll love the shrubbery.
I wouldn't be surprised if he lights up on stage, actually, in BC. Like, he might think, hey, he does anywhere. I read one Snoop Dogg he did the Olympic coverage, right? In this past, where were they? When they were in France. And it was a funny story about Snoop Dogg was working for NBC, and they paid him like $15 million for like 30 days or something. He was making like $500K a day for NBC to be at the Olympics. Except he was staying in like one of these really rich hotels. And they were getting massive complaints, like these rich, like Saudi kings and stuff were bitching because the entire floor smelled like weed chem. Snoop Dogg just doesn't care. Like he's lighting up, like in the hotel room, he'll pay the fine. It's like, oh, we're gonna charge you, I'll pay the fine. Like, you know what I mean?
The Saudi kings were offended by
they were like some very powerful people told Snoop, and the solution was they gave Snoop his own floor.
Yeah, why not? That's how you solve the problem.
So he had no neighbors. That's neighbors. Let's bring in Ian Cameron, a.k.a. Babano. What's going on, Babano?
And we'll talk to Babano about this. And we talked about this hockey game. I just got to say one thing, and I've always been like a fan of Brind'Amour. Like, he's one of my favorite players when I watch, but he's doing himself no favors in any areas in the series, complaining to the refs on every call, bitter, freaking out. The handshake thing with Maurice, like, I don't know what's going on with this guy, but like, he's just, I know I get emotional too, but you also, hockey's a game where it's classy at the end, right? It was this series, he just seemed off kilter. That's just my take.
Well, you know what? He's rattled. You're right, Cam. He's overly emotional in this series. So there was a little bit of an exchange between Maurice and Brind'Amour, and people saw it. It looked like an awkward conversation, and it kind of was. It was an awkward conversation, but because of Rod Brind'Amour. And the fact is, so Rod Brind'Amour was wondering why Paul Maurice wasn't in the handshake line after the game. And the fact of the matter is, and hell, even I know this, Paul Maurice doesn't do the handshake line after the game. He shakes the hands of the coaches by the bench area, and he says that is for the players. And he actually just had to tell Brind'Amour this. Maurice said he doesn't go in the handshake line. It's for the players. And that's what he told him. The thing is, Brind'Amour has played against Maurice a million times and freaking should know this. You've already lost to him in the playoffs. You know he doesn't. You know what I mean? Like, and he's not like snubbing people. He's shaking the coach's hands, and he says the players should shake their hands. I didn't play. That's for them. Let's bring in Ian Cameron, who's what's going on with Ben? We got some bad
you guys got a key open or something? Yeah, I don't know.
You got an air conditioner on, a heater on, or like what's going on?
Babano,
no, we're good. Fan? No air conditioner. It's not warm enough for air conditioning.
You got mic issues too. We'll reset with Babano on the next break here. Sorry, Babano. Yeah. Dear God, like
you're doing so well.
No, I told you before with Kiev. I told him before, make sure the mic works. Like, and it did, but like
that was the best. He's like,
it's like these people, you guys got mics, like use them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, use them.
I thought it was a key was open in the control room. I didn't know what the hell was going on. But all I know is
I knew it was him.
Oh, it was Babano. Your apartment in Dundas, Babano. At that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, you gave us problems last week, Babano, as well. What's going on, Babano?
Yeah, we're good. Look, it's funny about Maurice and Brind'Amour. Maurice does not believe in shaking the hands of the players in the handshake line. It's for the players.
Yeah, it's well known.
Yeah, and the thing too is,
that actually,
it's funny that Brind'Amour got upset about it. These guys go back a long way. Paul Maurice coached Carolina in the early 2000s when Rod Brind'Amour was the captain of the team. That's how long they go back. They're actually really good friends off the ice. So to see the little bit of angst there at the end was just a little bit surprising for two guys that have known each other for a long time. I mean, remember, Maurice coached Carolina in 2001, 2002, 2003.
They know each other. Like, Brind'Amour's just losing his mind, like out of frustration.
He coached Hartford.
And all the things that have happened. Yeah,
he's been around.
Yeah. Damn right he has.
He's been around, Paul Maurice, youngest coach in the NHL at the time. But, yeah, Brind'Amour's just rattled, but you can see Paul Maurice did look surprised, actually. Like, he knows him. Like, he was like, what? He was like, you know this. And he kind of like, And you could see Maurice told him, I don't shake the head. And then you could see Maurice looking at one of the assistant coaches of Carolina going kind of pointing at Brindamore like, what are you guys doing? What's your problem? Like, you know what I mean?
Brindamore was agitated all night. He had a burn in his saddle all night.
He's had a burn in his saddle the whole series.
He just got a 5-year contract extension, though. So he's not going to get fired. Yeah. For all the talk of will he get fired and stuff, he's not going to get fired. And it did show a little life.
They better plan on paying him if they do fire.
You're an emotional person, but I'm going to say you one thing. Like, Brindamore did his team no favors. He bitches at every single call in the series. A lot of them were bad calls, but the thing is, you got to know when to play the refs. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what a sign of a good coach, when to have that talk with the ref. But he does it every time. It's like the boy crying wolf. The refs are like, shut up, dude. Every time your team gets a penalty, you're freaking out on me. And it didn't help them at all.
Yeah, but it's like a football game, Cam. Normally, the coach, the guy that's throwing the headset around, is the guy that's losing the game.
Yeah. The squeaky wheel.
The angrier coach, the one that's like, I remember like Harbaugh used to be throwing headsets the entire game all the time. We were 9-4 every year, and I'd be even like, dude, they're kids, Jim. They see you flipping, and you're causing chaos on the sideline, right? And then you notice in the last couple of years, Harbaugh admitted, He goes, it's not easy, but he goes, I just stay still and I just don't move. It's like he doesn't freak people out this way. You know what I mean?
Good point.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Lost Pages. Let's get lucky.
And if you go through CAT, that means CAT at 11-1 could be Eastern Conference Finals MVP. The worst team in the WNBA is the Chicago Sky. They have no perimeter play. They're playing Sloot too many minutes. And Angel Reese doesn't have the help she needs.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
I actually like the fact that they went 7 games against a quality opponent here and still had to face adversity even in a game number 7. How are we setting up this next series where they rested Minnesota Timberwolves team taking on OKC fresh from the fight here?
They had an extremely, maybe it's just too strong a statement to say, easier pathway than people thought, particularly because of their size.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
Rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple 15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
We're rolling along here. Quickest 120 minutes in sports talk and television. 3 MLS games going on right now. LA Galaxy and the Earthquakes are scoreless in the 62nd minute. I don't have any action on that one. Portland and Colorado Rapids up 1-0 at the half. I don't know what the hell. Why is it still at the half? This game's taking forever. Maybe there's a weather thing. I don't know what the hell's going on here. And I'm blacked out for whatever reason. I got a video stream of all these games, but because I'm in the Pacific Northwest, I'm blacked out from the Portland Timbers. God forbid I see a Portland Timber game for free. So, like really, Cam, I'm in the blackout zone of Portland. I'm scared. Ooh, I don't know.
They want your fans to love you. Why do you not want
done
your
with these
fans to
cable
love you?
services. Like, I have HPI, so I watch horse racing. I'm getting like one track. I'm like, my bill's like $250. There's 7 channels. I get one. Like, why don't you give me
No, but
all
it's
of
even.
them? Like,
I get Babano, like in certain teams, I get like blacked out point blank. Like Seattle, the Seattle Mariners, the Seattle Kraken, like, and even like Bet365 is a good example. Bet365 has the video for MLS games, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
I'm blacked out of the Portland game. Same thing. I don't get Seattle Sounder games, Portland games, Seattle Kraken games. Like, I could go on. Like Seattle Mariner games. Like, I get blacked out all the time. I got to watch it online on a stream if I want to watch the Mariners. But I get Edmonton Oiler games. And you know what? We didn't do a best of X today. I should have. There's a lot of stuff going on. But I saw there was a tweet earlier today I saw, and it was pissing people off in Montreal, of all places. There's a bridge in Montreal, that a lot of people take, and the digital billboard said, "Let's go Oilers." And people in Montreal were like, "What do you mean, let's go Oilers? I don't like the Oilers." People in Montreal could give an F about the Oilers. Like, they don't care about the Canada thing. Like, they like the Montreal Canadiens there.
Yeah.
They like the Montreal. They like the Canadiens of Montreal, not the Oilers Edmonton.
Nobody else.
Yeah,
that's it.
No, they really don't, Cam. Like, and you know what? They're sort of like you. People in Montreal, they got soft spot for the San Jose Sharks and bad teams. Like, they don't mind the Ducks and stuff like
You're
that.
right.
But it's
They
like,
should have been from
you know what I mean?
Montreal. They like loser teams like me.
But it's like, nah, like the Oilers thing, it didn't go over very well. So people are like, who the hell did this? Like, why is this? And it's not like in the U.S. you could buy like billboards, you could put up whatever the hell you want, right? You can't do that in Canada. So it turned out that they did this everywhere in Canada because it was a federally owned bridge. Like, it's like, so the bridge is owned by the Canadian government. And somebody said, they were like, you know what? It wasn't a Montreal thing. Like, because people were sending angry messages to the mayor of Montreal, Cam. She didn't even know about it, probably. They're like, what the hell is this Oilers stuff? Call this tabernacle Oilers. Like, people were like bitching about this in Montreal. And they were like, listen, we don't own the bridge. It's federally owned, that bridge. And they put it up all over the country. So they're trying to get people involved in the Oilers.
Carney and his goons did it. Like the
So and all the Carney haters, all those nut job Carney haters, they're all like, oh, of course he's an Oiler fan. He's biased. He is an Oiler fan too.
Of course he is. He's an oil guy.
He's got, he grew up. He grew up like an Oiler fan for real. He is from Edmonton. So, but do you think the Oilers finish him off tomorrow? And how much of an impact do you think the Zach Hyman injury has on the Oilers moving forward?
More of an impact, I think, in the Stanley Cup final than tomorrow night. I think tomorrow night they can win without him. First game without a key player. A lot of teams step up. More than anything, I think they've just established themselves as better than Dallas. Dallas doesn't have a lot left in the tank. They can't score goals. They can't finish their chances. Think about the one goal that they scored in game 4, in that loss. It was perfection as far as execution. It was bing, bang, boom, perfect passing, wonderful shot by Robertson on the power play. It took precision, execution, just to get the one goal they got. That's how hard it is right now for the Dallas Stars to score. And Skinner, our guy in games 4 through 7, is phenomenal. What's the run now? 12-1?
The Oilers are keeping Dallas to the outside. All they do is cycle, and it goes nowhere. The Edmonton Oilers, I got to give their coaching staff a lot of credit. They figured it out because Dallas is a really good team with chances, but they're like, we'll let you shoot from here. Sure, go for it. And they got it.
You know why, Cam? They're good at that. And I've seen the Oilers up close, guys. I saw them against the Canucks last year, 7-game series. I was at 2 of the games. I've seen the Oilers like 4 times, I think, in the last 2 years in person. And their defensemen are freaking big. People don't realize this. Bouchard's a big dude. Darnell Nurse a big dude. So when they get their sticks out and stuff, like, they're not great defensive players, but they take up a lot of space. Right, you see it, Babano. Like, Bouchard during the season is a freaking sieve on defense. Like, they want to bench him. It's like, dude, we're paying you a lot of money and you suck. Yeah, you got a good slap shot, and then you see in the playoffs, and the guy turns into, like, you know what I mean, Chris Chelios. Like, he's nailing people. Like, he's blocking shots. Like, he's all over the place. Like, can you do this all the time for us? And Nurse is another one. People like to criticize his mistakes, but he's a big dude, right? That's the whole thing, Cam. They take up a lot of space, the Oilers, so they are good at sort of getting, keeping everything outside right now. I think they're winning the cup, Babano. I think they're going to beat Florida this time. But Florida do have Marchand, and they do have Seth Jones added to a roster. Pretty scary stuff.
Well, another stat I'll throw out there for closing out Dallas tomorrow night is that other than Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final last year for the Edmonton Oilers, they have won every single game where they've had a chance to eliminate an opponent. So when they've had the first chance to eliminate an opponent, they've gotten the job done. They're already 2-0 this year. Game 6 versus LA. That was the first crack they had at finishing the Kings, and they won. Game 5 against Vegas in the second round. That was the first chance they had to finish off the Golden Knights, and they won. So when they get that first chance to finish off a team in the playoffs, they're getting the job done, other than Game 7 in the final last year. That was the only loss. So Edmonton's been good in this spot. I think they will be again. My one concern, guys, is these whispers that Ekholm might be back. I actually don't want him back tomorrow night. Save him for the Cup final, or don't rush him. He's already been out this long. You've managed to win without him. You've got a good thing going. I say keep him out one more game and see if you can finish this and give him even more rest for a potential Stanley Cup final against Florida.
I get your point, but I'd like to get a game in before the Stanley Cup final.
I see both sides. I see both
Yeah.
sides of the coin because you need this guy healthy versus Florida.
Yeah,
He's
but
gonna
Kim,
be key.
Stanley Cup final hockey's fast. So, even if you practice as fast with the team for the next week, for 6 days, whatever the hell it's going to be, when's the start date? I know the NBA is June 5th, so next Thursday. Is there an official lock-in?
Win? June 7th.
June 4th if Edmonton wins. June 7th, the Saturday if Dallas wins. So June 4th it is.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
And if they go through CAT, that means CAT at 11-1 could be Eastern Conference Finals MVP. The worst team in the WNBA is the Chicago Sky. They have no perimeter play. They're playing Sloot too many minutes. And Angel Reese doesn't have the help she needs.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
I actually like the fact that they went 7 games against a quality opponent here and still had to face adversity even in a game number 7. How are we setting up this next series where they rested Minnesota Timberwolves team taking on OKC fresh from the fight here?
They had an extremely, maybe it's just too strong a statement to say, easier pathway than people thought, particularly because of their size.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Shout out to our boy Nick Giorgio. We gave you a shout out last night. Vegas Matt, he's waiting for you in Vegas. Derek is asking about golf picks. We did them earlier, but we'll get Cam's picks on the way out here once again. Chris B, what's up, Chris? Chris is saying he likes the Ducks. Talking about college baseball. 16 regionals. We're going to hit them tomorrow. Lou's going to join us tomorrow. I'm ready to go for this, for the College Baseball World Series. It's great action. And it's really, 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 really good for in-game betting, too, this stuff. Like, there's wild comebacks all the time, like in these regionals. College baseball, the team could be winning 4-0 and then 5-1, and next thing you know, they're losing 9-6. Right? Like, these baseball games are wild. You got, like, great players. The quality of play is awesome. And they're using aluminum bats, so do the math. There's runs. Like I'm breaking down all these teams, guys, and they're like, oh, this team has, like, one of the best pitching staffs in the SEC. Their ERA is 4.50. No, but Cam, it's like the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League. Like, it's high scoring. They got aluminum bats. There's only so much you can do. You know what I mean?
Rimouski.
If the kid cracks it, it's going over the wall. Like, it is what it is. And they're not kids. These guys look like big leaguers. So it's high quality play. But Banny, you watching the Memorial Cup at all?
Yeah, it's a great tournament.
Moncton will play London on Friday. Medicine Hat waits on Sunday.
Yeah, it's London. I think it's going to be a rematch, London and Medicine Hat. I think they've been the two best teams so far, but don't rule out Moncton. Moncton's a good team. Gardner McDougall's a well-known, very good coach. He was coached university hockey very successfully. Don't rule out Moncton. But I think it'll be London and Medicine Hat in a rematch. But it's been a great tournament. You've got Haltonen and Cowan on London. You've got, obviously, McKenna for Medicine Hat. You got some really good, talented players on the Quebec teams. This has been a very, very loaded Memorial Cup tournament as far as high-end draft picks, and it's led
good
to some
hockey. Really
good hockey. Yeah.
I was watching the Moncton, and that was just the Q League. So, and I was watching the game today. I was like, this is some high-level stuff, and whatever. They're dude, like we talk about with our boy Greg Frank. I'm telling you, it's better than NCAA. NCAA has some high-level players and stuff, but dude, like the guy on the third line today, we're like, oh, Rimouski's getting production from their third and fourth line. They're like, yeah, he's a third-round draft pick in the Las Vegas Golden
That's
Knights.
the thing, Gabe. I think there's
Like, to
better
put in
talent
context,
on third
Cam.
and fourth line in the CHL than the college.
Yeah,
It's
exactly. Like there's a couple of top-tier superstars, but
You know what it is,
you got
guys?
guys playing in this tournament that are on the fourth line that are third-round draft picks by good teams in the NHL, and they're 17. Like, do the
I
math,
will
you know?
say this.
But we got to get to your golf picks, Kim.
Yeah. I just quickly, USC developmental program. It's a longer list for guys to get good. But instantly the players in the CHL are better. But there are some great US players in their developmental program. Let's
I'm
rock
like
Jack's
SEC,
tournament.
CHL. Sorry, go on.
Yes. Jack's tournament, the Memorial. I'll make it quick. I only have a little bit less pecks, Babano. Only 5 outrights. Give me Victor Hovland, a defending champion here at 35-1. Hideki Matsuyama loves Jack Nicklaus and winning at the Memorial. I'll take him this week. Great price at 38-1. Sugar Shane Lowry at 40-1. Can we get that flat stick working? Another great driver of the golf ball. We talked about this with Brady. Dangerous Denny McCarthy is getting real close. He's lost in a playoff here before, 55-1. And Matt Fitzpatrick is starting to trend in the right direction. He has everything, all the tools to win here. So he's 60-1. Colin Morikawa for a top 10, plus 160. Justin Thomas, top 10, plus 180. Here are my top 20s. We got Straka, the big Austrian, via Georgia Bulldogs, plus 115. JJ Spawn playing great golf. And my boy Bud Colley almost won last week, a top 20, plus 190. First round leaders, I only got 5 for you this week, people. Colin Morikawa,
only 5.
Tommy, no, Carver had like 8 today. I'm like, holy geez, man, it's 70 guys. Tommy Fleetwood, 40-1. Ryan Ginger, Aaron Rye, 50-1. Hello, Harris English at 60. And my boy, Gabe, you see the theme? Rye and Jaeger bombs. Steven Jaeger, 65-1. Enjoy the tournament, everybody.
All right, good luck, Cam. Thanks for the picks. Babano, Knicks or Pacers tomorrow?
Pacers finish it. They're a great road team. I'm not laying points against Indiana on the road. Pacers outright, but I'll take the 4.5.
All right, Babano steps up and in. Are you pulling for your guy SGA? I mean, maybe he'll bring the Larry O'Brien trophy to your backyard here. Huh?
He likely will, and it'll be right here in the Hammer if the Thunder
See the
can put the
difference,
hammer
Dave?
down.
Oklahoma City
win the
won. They're
NBA
touching and caressing the trophy, and Florida's like, we'll stay away from that one. That's the best. SGA's like rocking it like a baby. I love that guy. He's like, I don't care.
Cam, when you're 81-16 or whatever the hell you are, you can touch whatever you want. They're like,
you're damn right.
Give me the trophy.
Right, exactly.
When they play like they did tonight, no one will stop them. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, when you win by 40 every night, like they're like, yeah, don't worry about any jinxes. No, but basketball, they don't care. It's only a hockey thing.
Right.
I'd be the same way. I'd be like, I ain't touching that trophy.